Great morning. How are you doing? This is Pastor Bob with Ascension Healing Fellowship. Sunday services for 11/16/2025. We're glad you're here. Excited to have you here, where we teach that love is holy. And that's all that's holy. That's it, man. That's all that's left. That's all that's left. And that's what's holy. So today, we're going to take a little bit of time, of course, as we always do, to kind of get still for a minute. And just breathe in deep. And out through the mouth. And what I'd like to do is start with what we call box breathing. Now, this is where we breathe into the nose. In case you're just joining us, breathe into the nose for a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 6. And then blow it out for a count of 8. And then just hold for a count of 4. Okay, so that's 4, 6, 8. Okay, and then 4. 4, 6, 8, 4. Yeah, okay. Math was not my strong suit. So let's do this thing. And as you do this, what I really want you to notice is there any stress? And just see in your mind that breath going into the stress, absorbing it, and then as you blow it out, just blow out for such an extended period of time that all that stress just kind of comes out. And then just hold that beautiful stillness in those 4 seconds that we hold before we breathe back in. Okay? And we're going to do this a few times. So let's breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blow out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blow out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold for 1, 2. Let it all the stress go now. 4. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we hold, we're going to remember to let all the stress out. 5, 6. Blow out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just come back to normal breathing, just regular breathing. Hopefully that helped kind of get you settled and get you a little bit clearer on the purpose. Box breathing is a wonderful, wonderful method for getting solid, just getting grounded, and for kind of de-stressing, particularly at moments when you might be in a lot of stress. I've had to kind of run to bathrooms in the desert just to be able to do that sometimes because of things that were happening all around me. So today, we're going to start with our passage in the scripture, which is Isaiah 54, 16 through 17. I just did Lectio Divina on this morning again, and oh gosh, it's awesome. And I'm going to explain why here in just a minute. Verse 16, Isaiah 54. Behold, I have created the smith who blows the fire of coals. Okay, so a smith, like an ironsmith, someone who blows the fire of coals, somebody who creates things in the iron, with iron, the ironsmith who blows the coals, and produces a weapon for its purpose. I have also created the ravager to destroy. So not only did the divine create the one who makes the weapon, not only did the divine create the coals, the divine created the weapon, and the divine created the one who uses that weapon. Here's what he says in verse 17, and this is a promise. This is a beautiful promise, so hang on to this. No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall refute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the vindication from me, declares the Lord. Isaiah 54:16-17. Whew! And why does this matter? I'm so glad you asked that question, in case you were curious. First of all, this question matters because we have to ask ourselves a very simple, basic question. Who made all? Everyone from the smith who pounds out the weapons to the hot coals, that was all made by the divine. And here's why that's important. Everything that is in your life is there because the divine wanted it there. Everything that is in your life is there because the divine wanted it there at this moment in time. And here's why that's important. All that you are is all that you need to be. All that you are is all that you need to be. This weekend, I got a really great opportunity. It was such a blessing yesterday. I got to go hear the man, Bessel van der Kolk. I'm probably going to say that wrong. It's a Danish name. But he wrote an amazing book. This just absolutely incredible, mind-blowing book says the body keeps the score. And what he was talking about is trauma and how we see the trauma being kept in our body, in our soul. The trauma stays there. And what does that do to us? How does that harm us? How does that hurt us? And what does that do? What does that look like? Absolutely amazing talk. I was so blessed to get to go with Dan and MJ and my wife. It was such a super blessing. But here's how I want to frame this. Who made all? Perfect love made all. Perfect love made all. Now, sometimes you're going, how did perfect love make that? But perfect love made all. Now, here is where it gets interesting. All that you are is all that you were meant to be in this moment in time. How do I know that? Because perfect love made all. And I grow in faith. And I grow in faith sometimes multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. Now, let me explain a couple of things about that. It doesn't mean that you stop growing. Just the contrary. All that you are is all that you need to be in this moment in time. But that doesn't mean that you stop growing. It doesn't mean that at all. What it means is you look at where you are and who you are and you grow through that. And I'm going to talk with you very specifically and give you an exercise later on. Again, we're talking about moving into the kingdom and really examining what's going on within. Okay, but resting in this idea, that's where things get to a sweet spot as far as spiritual growth. Okay, we talked about going into the kingdom last week, and we talked about identifying things that you remember and things that happened in childhood and these kind of things. Well, this is going further. This is going even further than that. This is pushing the envelope, if you will. The second thing that I want to say about this is even though all that you are is all that you were meant to be at this moment in time, it does not mean that you don't dream and move toward that goal. Even though perfect love made all things and all that you are is all that you're supposed to be in this moment in time, it does not mean that you just say, okay, well, there's no sense in dreaming. No, just the opposite. Have dreams and have goals and move towards those dreams and move towards those goals and see and recognize what happens within you as you do. Here's a classic example. I have someone very close to me who never feels like they're enough. And every time they move towards a goal, they have to just do things and get all crazy with what they're doing to move toward that goal. And it's like, you are enough. Having faith in that and resting in that, it's a different story. Now, is it a question of preparing? That's a different story. If it's a question of saying, hey, you know what? I could study this and be better prepared. Okay, yeah, 2 thumbs up. I'm not saying don't do that. But what I am saying is recognize that you have it within you to be able to accomplish this mission that the divine has put in front of you Recognize that, because that's important stuff. That's incredibly important stuff, to recognize that all that you are is exactly who you need to be for this mission. Every hero of the Bible had doubts. So it's okay to doubt, but keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Move in ways where you can help others and others can help you. You see, as you go on that journey and as you have those goals and as you keep moving forward, just like Paul kept taking missionary trips, you learn a lot about your own soul and about the souls of others, and that you're able to help them and they're able to help you. People are put into our life to help us grow. I've grown so much through Dan, an amazing friend. I've grown so much through Tribby and Mert and Eunice and Leslie and Kat, my wife. Oh my gosh, the amount of growth that I've had in my life, and MJ, and so many wonderful, wonderful people who are in my life, that has been such an amazing thing to really experience that. Friends from the past, so great has their help been in my growth, and so important is that. So let's keep going with this idea in that the divine made all things, okay? Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No weapon formed against you shall succeed in this version, as it says, okay? All that has happened was meant to happen. All that will happen is meant to happen. Okay. To include all events and to include all people. Let me say that again. All that has happened was meant to happen. All that will happen was meant to happen. To include all events and all people. Again, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And sometimes those weapons seem to come from other people, and sometimes those weapons seem to come from events that happen. But what we really have to do is dig into what's going on from that person and what's going on from that event that's setting us off. Give you an example. Could it be our sense or lack of control that we had when we were younger? And now we want control, and these people are trying to control. Could it be our sense of maybe insecurity? Let me give you another example. My dad passed when I was like 10 years old. Most people know that. I'm very open about talking about that and what have you. That's not a problem to me. But he wanted me to be an athlete because he was never allowed to be an athlete when he was growing up. So he made me get out there and all of this. And for the longest time, I felt like I disappointed him. And of course, he wasn't here to tell me, no, you're not a disappointment. He was gone. So I wore that disappointment like a cloak. And that determined certain decisions that I made in life. Yeah, gets kind of challenging, doesn't it? Now, here's where these sweet spots get really sweet. All of this comes down to resting in this idea in faith. The idea that all things were made by the divine and the divine is in all things. All moments, all people, all events, all history, all things to come. It's all part of the divine plan for your soul. So the key is to be able to move into that and go, okay, so why is this part of the divine plan for me? And what happened back there that I need to grow from right here? Hope that makes sense. So to do this, we're going to practice an exercise. This is a meditation that I actually learned on Insight Timer. Not sure from who, because I take a lot of classes on Insight Timer. I absolutely love their classes. But Insight Timer is a wonderful app. If you want more information on that, message me. So here's how the meditation goes, okay? We're going to do this. Whenever I say go, we're going to close our eyes, and I want you to think of something that mildly upsets you. It could be an event. It could be a person. It could be something that happened, just mildly upset. I don't want you to go really deep emotional, especially this first time. But I want you to think about this, okay? And I want you to ask yourself, why did that upset me? Okay, now the first answer might be something like, well, because that guy's an asshole. I get it. I totally get that. But We want to go deeper. Why is he an asshole? Okay. Why do I feel like that person is an ass? Why do I feel like that particular action was wrong? Why do I feel a need to get upset over this? Okay. So, to give you an example of that, I am not real happy with some friends who told me that I can't be a Christian because of my, certain things that I said politically. And I told them to go suck eggs. I lost some friends. I'm okay with that. I mean, your friends are going to, friends, family, everybody else are going to talk trash about you. But what's interesting about that is that the reason I was willing to lose those friends is because whenever I was growing up, I grew up extremely evangelical and controlling. Like, this is the way it is. You do not use tobacco. You do not drink. You do not dance. You do not. So it's about control. When I left organized religion, I left it because this is what I believe now. And that allows me to say there's no difference between a gay person and a straight person in the eyes of the divine. There's no difference between a black person and a white person in the eyes of the divine. There's no difference between this and this and this and this and this. There's no Jew, there's no Gentile, there's no slave, there's no free, there's no Greek, there's no anything. There's no anything in the eyes of the divine, because the divine is love and love is holy. So I have to go back and pick up little Bob and say, hey, it's okay that people want to control you and tell you how to act and tell you how to be, because that's on them. It doesn't mean I have to really follow that. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this exercise. And basically, you want to keep asking that why question until your younger self steps up and your younger self says, well, it's because when I was younger, everybody told me that I had to act this way, that this was the only way God was going to love me. So you want to keep asking that why question till you dig into that. Okay? So you ready? Let's try this. So breathe in, breathe out. Just relax for a minute. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to just imagine, just remember, just think about something that kind of mildly upset you. You got that in your mind? All right. Now, why? Okay, keep asking why. Drill down on that why. There's a reason behind the why. That's what you want to get to. That's what you want to get at. Get to the reason behind your initial why. And it might take 4 or 5 whys. That's okay. Take your time. All right. And slowly just start wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers and come on back. I hope you're able to dig into that. I really hope you're able to dig into that. Can you do this on other things? Yes, please. I invite you to do this on other events and on other things that are going in your life. You'll find that the more you do this, the more you want to journal and just write down what is going on in my life. What is going on inside of me? What keeps me in one way or another? What keeps me stuck spiritually? And for me, this has always, always, always been a great way to get that done. But keep asking yourself these questions. Everyone that you struggle with, every time that you struggle, every day that you have a moment of struggle, whether that's with a coworker or with an event or with an opinion, just kind of trip into that. Just kind of like breathe into that and figure out what's going on in that moment. And figure out your why. When you figure out your why and you ask that why multiple times, you're going to get down to a core why reason that your little child got hurt when you were younger, and that you're trying to protect. The key is to let it go. Just let it go. and be aware that that might come up in the future. Because one of the things that I learned at the thing yesterday was that when trauma happens when you're younger, it's a lot harder to totally release. So this might be an ongoing moment for you to grow in faith. Lucky you. Sometimes I feel that way, right? Lucky me, I had this, yeah. But it's true. I hope this blessed you. I hope this helps you. And may you go this week in the peace of knowing that you are loved beyond human comprehension by the divine, who will never leave you or forsake you. There's nothing more to do, no like hierarchy you got to move up into. There's no boxes to check, nothing. The more you believe that idea, the better life gets. The more you believe that idea, the better life gets. Love you guys. Chat soon.